So we are going to discuss about the other traffic control devices. We have already completed one lecture on traffic signs. Another kind of traffic control device is the road markings. So after traffic signs, we are going to discuss about the road markings. What are road markings? What are the different types of road markings and what are the purposes served by road markings? So road marking, the essential purpose of road marking is to guide and control the traffic on a highway. You have already seen about the traffic signs. So these road markings will also be supplementing the function of traffic signs. It is very important to ensure that the traffic is moving in a safe, smooth and harmonious manner. So there are various types of road markings. The various types of road markings include longitudinal markings, transverse markings, object markings, and special markings. These are the various types of road marking. Longitudinal markings, transverse markings, object markings, and special markings. Now, the classification of road markings. The road markings can be classified into different types like patterns, lines, words or other devices, except signs, etc., which are attached or which are applied or attached onto the carriageway. Or in some cases, they may be attached to adjacent properties on the carriageway. And the purpose is controlling, warning, guiding, and informing the road users about certain regulations of traffic. So I told that there are different classification of road markings. The different classification of road markings include longitudinal markings, transverse markings, object markings, word messages, marking for parkings, marking at hazard locations, etc. I repeat, longitudinal marking, transverse marking, object marking, word messages, marking for parkings, marking at hazardous locations, etc. Now, coming to the different types, the first one being the longitudinal marking. Longitudinal marking means it is placed on the roadway, on the carriageway, on the road surface in the direction of the traffic. So once it is placed in the direction of the traffic, it will be indicating to the driver what is the proper position of driver on the roadway. So when we are discussing about longitudinal markings, there are different guiding principles which define the norms for placing a longitudinal marking. If the traffic flow in the same direction need to be separated, and the predominant color used for the traffic marking is white. In case of traffic flow in opposite direction, yellow color is used. And this yellow color is used to separate the pavement edges. This markings, this longitudinal markings can be either in the form of broken, it may be solid or double solid. Now, the broken lines are permissive in character and allows the crossing with discretion. Solid lines, I told that the longitudinal markings will be in the form of either solid lines or broken lines. Broken lines indicate that it is allowed to pass, whereas the solid lines are restrictive in character. It is restricting the movement of vehicle. And this solid lines will not allow the crossing except for entry or exit from a side road or premises or to avoid a stationary obstruction. In addition to this dotted lines and broken lines and solid lines, there will be certain type of double solid lines. Double solid lines means this will be indicating severe restriction. And even in the case of emergency, this double solid line cannot be crossed by the vehicle. In some cases, there may be a combination of solid and broken lines, etc. Now, vehicles from the opposite direction are not permitted to cross the line. There are different types of longitudinal markings, the different types being center line, traffic lanes, no passing zone, warning lines, border or edge lines, bus lane markings, cycle lane markings, etc. These are the different types of longitudinal markings. Center line, traffic lane, no passing zone, warning line, border or edge lines, bus markings, cycle lane markings. So this here you can see that this is showing the center line marking for a 2-lane road. This is the road. It is having 2 lanes, and for separating the 2 lanes, a marking is provided at the center. You call it as the center line marking. This is showing a center line marking in the case of a 4-lane road. 1 lane, 2nd lane, 3rd lane, and 4th lane. There are total 4 lanes. And for separating each lanes, a center line marking is provided. Now, what is the purpose of this center line? The center line will be separating the opposing stream of traffic. Okay, the opposing stream of traffic will be separated, and their movement, the movement of the opposing stream of traffic will be facilitated. If the roads are having a width less than 5 meters and the roads are having more than 4 lanes, there is no need of providing a central line. The center line marking will be in the form of either single broken line, single solid line. I repeat, the center line marking may be in the form of either single broken line, single solid line, double broken line, or double solid line. If the roads are urban type of roads with less than 4 lanes, on urban type of roads with less than 4 lanes, the center line may be a single broken line segment. You can read all these things. This is about the central line. After center line, there are another type of road marking that is known as the traffic lane line. Traffic lane line means in case of wide carriageways. The wide carriageways need to be subdivided into separate lanes on either side. The wide carriageway need to be subdivided into separate lanes. And these divisions of wide carriageway will help the driver to go straight. These divisions will help the driver to go straight, and it will make sure that the driver is not having a tendency to meander, or driver is not having a tendency to cross into the adjacent traffic streams. When you are moving at intersections, on reaching the intersections, these traffic lane lines will eliminate the confusion, and it will make sure that the turning movement is easy. At intersections, these traffic lane lines will eliminate confusion and facilitates turning movement. So traffic lane lines will be helping in increasing the capacity of road. Okay, traffic lane lines can help in increasing the capacity of road, and also it can ensure more safety. The traffic lane lines are normally single broken lines. Traffic lane lines are normally single broken lines. Another type of important road marking is no passing zone. No passing zone means, here you can see the traffic lane marking for a 4-lane road with broken center line. Okay, this is the broken center line, and this will be separating the different lanes. In the case of curves, summit curves, horizontal curves, and lanes or multiple lane highways, where there is restriction for overtaking movement because of not available properly, because proper side distance is not available. Okay, so consider the case of a summit curve, horizontal curve, or multi-lane highways where there is restriction to overtaking operation. Why there is restriction? There is no adequate side distance available for making sure that passing is permitted or overtaking operation is permitted. So this no parking zones, it may be marked by a solid yellow line. Okay, it may be marked by a solid yellow line along the center. Here you can see that along the center, there may be a solid yellow line or double yellow line. So that is the no passing zone. No passing zone marking at horizontal curves. Here you can see that At horizontal curves, in order to make sure that enough sight distance is available, there is restriction for overtaking. So there is a no passing zone marked at the horizontal curves. Next one is warning lines. So warning lines will be warning the drivers about the approaches or about the obstruction in the approaches. In the case of horizontal and vertical curves, when visibility is greater than the prohibitory criteria, you will be providing the warning lines. So warning lines can be shown. This is the warning lines where there is prohibition. Next one is edge line. In case of certain roads, especially certain rural roads, where there is no special curbs. So if curb is not specifically mentioned, what will happen? The drivers will have a tendency to move away from the road or move apart from the pavement and drive along the shoulder portion. So in order to ensure that there is a proper delineation of the limit up to which the driver can safely drive, edge lines will be provided. So edge line, they will be at least 150 mm from the actual edge of the pavement. At least 150 mm from the actual edge of the pavement. And this edge line should be painted in yellow or white. Yellow or white should be the color of the edge line. So this is about the different longitudinal markings. When we speak about road markings, the road markings can be in the form of longitudinal markings as well as transverse marking. Whatever we have discussed till now, that is the longitudinal marking. Longitudinal marking is in the direction of flow of traffic. The lines that are provided in the same direction as the traffic is moving, you call it as the longitudinal marking. Now coming to the another type of marking, that is the transverse marking. Transverse marking means these transverse markings are provided across the direction of traffic. If traffic is moving in one particular direction, perpendicular to the movement of traffic, you have to provide the transverse markings. These transverse markings are marked at intersections. In the case of transverse marking, what is the site condition? The site conditions will be playing a very important role. Now, this type of road marking will be depending on several characteristics or several variables like speed characteristics of traffic, availability of space, etc. The different examples for transverse markings include stop line markings, markings for pedestrian crossings, direction arrows, etc. Stop line, markings for pedestrian crossings, direction arrows, etc. are some of the transverse markings. Now we have to examine the characteristics of all these transverse markings one by one. Stop line. Stop line means beyond the stop line, the vehicles are not allowed to proceed. So stop line indicates the position beyond which the vehicle should not proceed. And when they are required to stop by different control devices like traffic signals, traffic police, etc. This will be showing the pedestrian. Okay, this will be showing, I'll show that figure. Okay, this is the stop line marking near an intersection. So the vehicle is approaching this intersection. In order to ensure that there is a proper movement of vehicles at the intersection, some vehicles need to be stopped on the carriageway. So a stop line will be indicating the driver to stop the vehicle. So this is indicating a stop line. Another type of transverse marking is the pedestrian crossing. Pedestrian crossing means when there is more chances of conflict. The conflict between the vehicular traffic and pedestrians are more in that particular area. There will be specialized path provided for the pedestrians to make their crossing movement. So what is the condition for selecting a site for providing a pedestrian crossing? The site selected should be such that it will cause less inconvenience to the passengers. The passengers will not face severe difficulties for taking the crossing operation. And the vehicles are not interrupted too much. These are the different conditions. First one is it should be causing minimum inconvenience to the passengers. And secondly, It should not be interrupting the vehicles too much. So at intersections, what should be the condition at intersections? The pedestrian crossings should be preceded by a stop line. At intersections, the pedestrian crossing should be preceded by a stop line. Next one is directional arrows. To guide the drivers to use the correct lane for movement, the directional arrows is used. Next one. So these are the different types of road markings. One is the transverse marking and the other one is the longitudinal marking. Another method is, instead of providing the road markings on the carriageway surface, in case of all these things, that is the edge line, center line, stop line, pedestrian crossing, etc., even if that is the transverse type or the longitudinal type, the markings are provided on the carriage surface itself. But in some cases, the road markings will not be provided directly on the carriage surface. Instead, some objects are provided on the carriageway, and road markings or object, you call it as object markings. The markings for facilitating the traffic movement will be provided on certain objects are provided at the road. So physical obstructions in a carriageway, the different physical obstructions include the traffic signal, signal post, pier, etc. On these objects, markings are provided. Okay, so the markings on the objects is adjacent to carriageways. So this will be of different classes, like objects within the carriageway. So objects within the carriageway include, if there is a traffic island present, if there is a raised median. On this raised median, traffic island, etc., markings are provided. So these markings will be in the form of alternate black and yellow stripes at an angle of 45 degrees. This one is the directional arrow marking. You might have seen such kind of directional arrow markings provided on the pavement itself. Next one is objects adjacent to carriageway. So this first one we have discussed is the providing markings on the objects in the carriageway itself, as in the case of channelizing islands, raised meridians, raised medians, etc. Whereas another way is objects adjacent to carriageway. Some objects that is adjacent to the carriageway will be causing some obstruction to the flow of traffic. For example, subway piers, abutments, culverts, head wall, etc. It is not located on the carriageway, but it is located adjacent to the carriageway. So in case of such obstructions or objects which is adjacent to carriageway, the road markings will be provided similar to the case of objects in the carriageway. Road markings will be provided in the form of stripes at 45-degree inclination, but the difference lies in the selection of color. In the case of objects in the carriageway, alternative black and yellow strips were used, whereas in the case of objects adjacent to carriageway, the color coding is different. The color code used is alternate black and white strips. There are different objects like guard stones, drums, guard rails, etc., where the chances of vehicle hitting them are only when the vehicle runs off the carriageway. That should also be painted in solid white. Next one is word messages. The information circulation for guiding, regulating, or warning the road users. Okay, the information for guiding, regulating, or warning the road users, it may be conveyed by inscribing word messages on the road surface. What you are doing is you are inscribing some word message on the road surface. So in case of word messages, the characters usually are capital letters. So in the case of word messages, to read and comprehend the word messages, it requires more and more time. Greater time period is required for comprehending and reading the word messages. So only few and very important messages are usually adopted in case of word messages like stop, slow, school, etc. And the position of the road message should be inscribed on the roadway in such a way that if the driver is looking at the surface, okay, driver who is inside the vehicle, if he is looking at the surface at a very low angle, then only this word messages are visible and legible to the driver of the vehicle. That's about the different word messages. Next one is parking. We have already completed one detailed lecture regarding parking. So if parking space is limited on urban road, the marking of parking space will ensure that an efficient use of parking space is made available. So the parking space markings will be in the case in white solid lines. In some parking spaces, the type of vehicle like car, scooter, etc. may be written on the parking area so that different classes of vehicle can be parked conveniently. So this is about the different road markings. You have to understand that the road markings will be pavement markings, the different type of road markings will be pavement markings, object markings, word marking, etc. And pavement marking will include both longitudinal marking and transverse marking. Object marking will include marking on the objects on the carriageway and marking on objects adjacent to carriageway. And also you have the word markings. Okay. So we'll stop this lecture.